What's the problem?
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that? You
My
broke
back is broken.
what? A vertebrae or what portion?
Spine.
You might as well use the Michael Jackson Thriller laugh. It's giving me the same vibes. This is the new series. Hey, Chrisean, it ain't your fault, but it is your fault. If you decide to put your whole entire life on the internet, we get to chop it down like game film after a Friday Night Lights, after a football game. We get to chop this shit down. We get to replay it for the masses, and they get to learn. They, meaning the young parents, the young mothers, they get to learn from your mistakes. So this is going to be a new series on Chrisean Rock's terrible parenting skills. What we have here, guys, is a baby, even with earmuffs on, which is she is claiming to have done for the baby. You cannot tell how properly those earmuffs have been put onto the baby's ears. Is it a protective seal? Does the baby actually, does actual decibels and sounds get through the earmuff? You will never know because you're not that baby. Enclosed in this video will also be suitable decibel levels for a newborn under 6 months. What the recommendations are is 50 to 60 decibels. What I'm talking to you right now into my microphone is roughly 55 to 60 decibels. So we can logically deduce that in this studio, this baby is coming into contact with jet engine type of decibel levels. And it's an exponential growth with decibel levels. So 70 to 80 is exponentially bigger than 50 to 60 and 60 to 70. So we're talking about hours in a studio with a baby that has little to no eardrum development. Sorry guys, real quick, I just want to pause the video right here because when we get into this studio session, we can estimate that the decibel levels in the studio are going to be probably right around, with the music cranked, right around 115 to 120. When she says turn that shit up, probably about 125 with surround sound, with that type of surround sound system. So you can't, there's not that much distortion, but it's going to be well over 105 to 110. So this OSHA standard for exposure to decibel levels states that on the job site, you are basically not allowed to have your employees exposed to over 115 decibels for more than 15 minutes. If Chrisean Rock played back her song 3 times for an adult, she's at the OSHA required limit for a employer to say, you're done. You got to work on something else. Get away from the machinery. Get away from that. It's not acceptable. And I've worked for companies that were under these strict contingencies, and it's crazy, bro. This is just a wake-up call. I played back the video. I'm like, wow, 115 decibels for 15 minutes. It was over that. It was probably 130. So we could slash that in half. If it's 130, your exposure should be only 5 minutes tops. Maybe even 3 minutes for an adult. Let's continue.
My name is something once you had me fucked up, I was hurting. Can't you tell me love? Oh, should I was praying up to God, I was searching. Can't you tell me love?
Girl, all that auto-tune, I thought T-Pain was going to be on the track. Because they went live. Her little niece, girl, she got to show us her skills. I wonder who idea was this. Like, Shawnee, show them you can take care of kids.
You put an Uzi on. So cereal with auntie.
Ladies, before we start this, what you want to keep in the back of your mind at every second of every day that you're in the care of a child are the what ifs. What if this? What if that? What if the baby puts that milk jug and pours it over her head? Like, always think about the what ifs. Here we go. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, 6 1,000, 7 1,000, 8 1,000, 9 1,000, 10 1,000, 11 1,000, 12 1,000, 13 1,000, 14 1,000, 15 1,000.
Don't you get down, girl. Be careful. Shawnee, watch it. Watch it. Sit back, baby.
You finally turned your head 19 and a half seconds later. The baby's on a marble countertop with the marble countertop's almost above your belly button, almost to your sternum. That is a 3 to 3.5 foot drop.
Gonna shoot it this time? Yeah. Now the structure.
Is the machine that's on?
Yeah, she's on now.
This is Local 60 doing the plastering on the Chrysler building.
Now, guys, I'm all for the feminist movement. I am, because I don't want my daughter having to go out and rely on no man. I'm going to teach her to find a family and create a traditional household. But if a man is going to come in and then one day want to come out, she's left to survive on her own. So I actually do adhere to some sort of feminist principles. But the one thing that I cannot get behind is like people saying like, well, you know, because it is a different standard for men and women. Like, people are going to watch this video and say, well, you're looking about what ifs, like all these accidents, and she didn't fall, so what's the problem? Okay, here's the equality factor. If these gentlemen here would have had a hammer and was hammering, you know, hammering a stud in or drilling something in, and you don't put your tool back in your tool belt, or you don't put your tool away and you just leave it on the beam, and your tool falls off this beam, you will kill somebody. The what ifs matter, guys, on both ends of the spectrum. So from a parenting standpoint, I'm going to parent the same way that I would work on these beams. I really would. I'm going to think about all the what ifs. I could kill someone if I don't put my tool up. So, I mean, with the feminist movement, I'm going to be equally as critical from a male perspective and a female perspective. A lot of the females that, you know, are you know, in my circle are like, wow, you're like kind of hard on me, and I'm just like, what do you expect? This is life. Like, I don't see men and women different. Even though I'm not going to expect you to run a 9-second 100-meter dash, there's certain things I know that are not possible, but everything else is. So these are harsh critiques, but they're warranted. They really are. This baby could die from falling off this countertop, and let me show you why. This is just what we see. And with Chrisean, we see everything, but that's a very big mistake. The baby rolls off and crawls off that marble countertop and hits the side of her neck. She breaks her neck. I want you guys to understand how serious this is.
Showmanship of the dunk contest comes out when Dwight Howard wants another rim being brought out. This is 11 feet, 12 feet, and he wasn't done there. He's going to run off the court, and he's going to the phone booth, Jim.
I love Dwight Howard, and by the way, David Stern is calling NBA security and insurance to make sure if anybody gets hurt, he's not on the hook. I love Dwight Howard and his personality and his costumes. However, it may have been just a little too many props.
They were also playing the Superman theme song when this went down, and even with an elevated rim, that's still too easy for him. He scored a 50 again.
That's a tremendous point.
Okay, and the math and everything that I just showed you to provide frame and reference might be confusing to so many different people. Basically, in a nutshell, I provided the math that falling from that distance in height would be equivalent to Rock standing at the top of this 12-foot rim and jumping off. Like her heels are at the top of the rim, and her just jumping and falling and hitting the hardwood. That distance in frame of reference from a 5'4" individual is the same as a baby falling from that countertop height. That's what I'm trying to correlate there. Putting it out for the world to display, and she's actually getting, if you watch Chrisean, she's getting more confident because she's, oh, I did it another day. I went another day without any mess ups. And you're just like, wait, what? Like, there's a lot of issues here, guys, and I don't want to be too morbid about this, but look up one of Mike Tyson's saddest moments, and you'll realize how important this conversation is that we need to have.
Sit back. Sit down.
Super cute baby, though. I'm going to leave it here. I think we got enough for today. We have 3 instances where she could have cleaned some things up. This is going to be an extra critique on her, but for the same reason I don't put everything out on the internet, Neither should she. So I want these videos to be just shared for awareness. I still love, everything she's doing and what she's trying to do, but there's things that that need to be cleaned up. So it's J.V. Everything about us is blue collar, and we get it out the mud. Stay tuned.